Welcome to At Home with Debbie Rule, where you can freely ask questions, share stories, and learn more about how to have a happy home, family, and healthy relationships.
Such as 24-hour crisis intervention and hotline, 24-hour accompaniment for medical, law enforcement, or criminal justice. They provide legal advocacy, individual counseling, and the Haven is active in public education, prevention, and community awareness. Support your local domestic violence and sexual assault programs. Speak up about the abuse. Educate yourself and others. Help a friend in need and set an example. For more information on how you can help, call the Haven at 325-597-7644. Together, we can end domestic violence and sexual assault.
Firefighters are also known as first responders because they are usually the first officials on the scene of fires, car accidents, and other emergencies. They not only rescue people from fires, but also help out when natural disasters such as tornadoes and earthquakes strike. And they treat those who are hurt and injured and also search for missing persons. Today, we salute our firefighters.
Destination Ford in Brady salutes local police, fire, and first responders for their service and commitment to our community and invites you to join them and other businesses, organizations, and individuals on Tuesday, October 3rd at Richards Park to proudly celebrate National Night Out, a nationwide event promoting law enforcement and community partnerships.
Well, welcome back to At Home with Debbie Rule, where we are talking about Domestic Violence Awareness Month, which is October. There's no better time than all year round to talk about awareness and prevention and education on domestic violence awareness, but especially during the month of October, we dedicate that time. And so we want to remind you that we will be out at the Richards Park on Tuesday night for National Night Out. We want to invite you to come out and join us. We have lots of little goodies to give away, and we celebrate, or don't celebrate, but we come together I guess to celebrate having a safe community, because that is something to celebrate, is having a safe community. And joining me tonight on the program is my beautiful friend, Holly Garza with the Haven Family Shelter. How are you, Holly?
Thank you. I'm good. How are you doing tonight?
I'm doing fantastic.
Good.
I love doing the shows with you. I think this is
Yes.
probably about our third or fourth one
I
maybe
think so.
that we've done.
I think so. Yes, I love coming here. So.
Well, it's always a good opportunity to come and bring awareness, to let us know what's going on at the Haven, the events that you have coming up, what we can do to come together as a community to support the Haven Family Shelter. I know there's always an opportunity to give financially, but not only financially, your time is something that can really be used. I know that there's probably answering.
Yes, we our biggest need right now is hotline volunteers. We are looking, anyone who is interested in doing that, all they have to do is call us at 325-597-7644 and talk to our volunteer coordinator, Michaela, and she can get you an application and we can get you some training, and it's a good way to help us out and also help those in the community.
Can you tell us a little bit more about what a person that would be doing hotline training, what they would be doing?
Okay. We have volunteers that take the phones for us after 5 o'clock until 8 o'clock in the morning the next day.
Okay.
And then, of course, throughout the weekend. So really, it's just answering our 597-7644 line. That's our 24/7 hotline, and they filter the calls for us because just like any other phone number, we get a lot of spam too.
Sure.
And so they filter phone calls for us and get relevant information and pass it along to the staff member that's on call with them, and then the staff member will kind of take it from there, call the person back, have a conversation, go to the shelter, and then there's also times when we can, use your help too to help us do intakes and things like that. So It's pretty easy. It can be a little scary and overwhelming at 1st, especially for someone who's never done it. But like I said, we have training. You can go through a training. We sit down with you and we can help you with that. So yeah, if anyone is interested, please give us a call because we're down to 2 and we really need some more. So
Okay.
give us a call tomorrow.
So, volunteering to take the phones
Yes.
and monitor the 1-800 number, I guess it's 597-7644,
Yes.
but your hotline number
Yes, our hotline.
that you have. And you do provide training. So that gives people a little bit of, puts their mind at ease that they
Yeah.
don't have to have all the answers. They don't have to have all of this training and education.
No, we don't make you wing it. We don't just throw you in there and make you wing it.
That's
so.
good. And anybody can do it because, if you just can answer the phone and follow the protocol that the Haven gives you and then pass that on to the next person, you can really help them be able to facilitate the calls that come in and to help those that are in need because, unfortunately, situations don't occur between 8 and 5 mostly.
Right.
And
It's
especially
usually in the
situations like
evenings,
this or in
yes.
the evenings or even later at night.
Overnight, yes.
So that's when people are calling for help.
Yeah.
And so we always want to let people know that hotline number is out there, 597-7644, that you can call 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Someone will help you, lead you, put you in the right direction. If you have an emergency, we ask you to call 911, and the police will be able to facilitate that for you and whatever else you need. But without...
with calling us as well too, like
Yes.
if that's what you're wanting, then they will help you get a hold of us, and we can work together to make sure you're safe.
That's
So,
good.
yes.
That's good. Well, volunteers are needed to answer the phones at the Haven, the hotline number. So if you're interested in that, if that's something that you feel like you could do, carry the phone and just answer if someone's in need and take their information and pass it on to the
staff member.
the staff member. I'm sorry.
That's
I
okay.
feel like I am just like
That's
not with it
okay.
tonight, but I'm going to get with it. I'll tell you that. I tell you, I just had a really busy weekend. And,
Yes, no, you're good.
But anyway, so pass it on to the staff member, and then they'll be able to facilitate whatever the needs are for them. So, without a hotline, it just really wouldn't make the
have
program work.
Yeah,
I
we
mean,
have our hotline and of course Facebook. Facebook message us, and
Yes.
the staff monitors that pretty well. So if you're not comfortable calling and you'd rather Facebook message, then that's always an option as well.
But calling is anonymous.
Yes,
If someone
calling is
calls the
100%
1-800
yes,
anonymous and confidential, we want to tell you that too. So if you know of someone that is in need of services or just wants to get information, maybe they're unsure of whether or not they qualify for services, or maybe they're unsure whether or not they're even in a dangerous situation.
Right.
I know that sounds crazy, but it's so true. A lot of people just they doubt themselves. They doubt whether or not they should reach out to someone because they feel like that their situation is just, they shouldn't bother with anybody
Right.
with that. But we're to tell you that if you're feeling any of some of the things that we talk about tonight,
Yes.
we're going to give you some of the warning signs and some of the things that you can look at. Or if you know somebody that is dealing with these issues, then reach out to them. Tell them that there's somebody there that can help them. It's completely confidential. No one is going to make anyone do anything that they don't want to do, but they are going to be there to be a helping hand, to lend services and to do whatever may be needed to provide safety and care for those that are involved in that situation. And so that is something that's really important. And we are so blessed, again, to have the Haven here in our community. A lot of communities don't have a facility like we have here. And so stepping up and volunteering and helping any way that you can, that's part of being community, and we invite you to do that. Again, if you have any questions, you can call 597-7644. You can also reach out to the Haven Family Shelter Facebook page, message them, and if you're interested in applying for a volunteer position in answering the hotlines, then contact them for that as well. I'm sure they would greatly appreciate
Yes,
that.
we need you.
That's right.
We need you.
Well, the past few weeks we've been talking about attachment styles, and so this kind of goes right on into when you said, I want to come and I want to kick off the month of October. I thought, okay, I can kind of put it in there because, A lot of our issues start early in life.
Yes.
With the parent or the adult on down to the child, and then it's a cycle that just continues. And a lot of times we don't realize that there were just things that happened in our childhood that cause us to react and behave in the way that we do. And so this really fit right on in with the insecure attachment style, with a lot of family violence and trauma, childhood trauma that happens with children, and even parenting styles that happen that are a result of attachment. And so when you try to figure out who you are, get the help that you need, you become healthy, and those around you become healthy, and you certainly become safer.
It's a cycle.
It is a cycle. It is a cycle, and you can be the cycle breaker.
Yes, that is true.
You can be the cycle breaker. Okay, so what you got going on coming up quickly that we want to talk about?
Well, so of course today kicks off our Domestic Violence Awareness Month. One thing we've got going on is t-shirts. Everybody loves t-shirts. We have it posted on our Facebook page. They're super cute. They're only $15. We are taking orders, I believe, until this coming Friday, and then we'll turn them in. November 19th is our Go Purple Day, and so we're wanting to get these shirts so that we can ask our community to wear them in support of that day. We'll be wearing them as well, and we'll come around and we take pictures. And
October 15th?
October 19th.
19th.
It's called Go Purple Day.
That's right.
So if you want a t-shirt, or if you have purple, that's fine. You can wear your purple. But if you would, we're asking our community to wear purple to help raise awareness for survivors everywhere. Let's see what else. I know on October 18th, Wednesday, October 18th, the Haven is hosting a human trafficking training course, just to kind of help us. We'll be there as well, but just to kind of help us recognize the signs of human trafficking, because that's becoming a big deal. It's everywhere. And so we have this awesome instructor from Austin who comes. He did our law enforcement training back in May. So we've got that going on. Any information, our Facebook page. Always go to our Facebook page. Has all the information about all of our events.
And for those that do not have Facebook, how do they just
call us? Just
Okay.
give us a call,
Okay.
and we can tell them whatever it is that they need. They want to know.
And
Let's
this,
see.
the human trafficking course that you're going to be having, who would be interested in that?
Well, it is geared towards law enforcement.
Okay.
Now, if you pretty much anyone that would work in, schools would be a good place. Us, we work at, we do service, victims of human trafficking. So, or anybody in that kind of professional occupation that would, come across the victims of human trafficking. And I know a few community members that have asked, if they can attend, and I'm like, of course you can, because the more you know, the more you know. And so it's good for us as a community to come together and to recognize those signs, because it's a new thing and a lot of people don't know. And so you got it. Awareness. That's where it all starts, is awareness.
That's right.
So for any information, we have a flyer on our Facebook page, and it's right there at the sheriff's office. It's just a one-day thing. We're providing lunch, so
like from 8 to 5?
8 to
or
5.
8
Yes,
to 5.
ma'am.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that's going to be October 18th. Again, human trafficking training course at the Haven.
Yes.
From 8 to 5, lunch is provided. And is there a charge for the course?
No.
No charge. Well,
No,
that's
it
the
is
best
free.
part of it.
And we have T-Cole hours for
Okay,
those law
for those
enforcement
that
professionals out there. Yes, so
Okay.
it helps them out as well. And then for Domestic Violence Awareness Month, I know that a lot of people have seen our cutouts that we have put around the courthouse. And so this year, instead of putting them back at the courthouse, what I decided to do was reach out to local businesses to see if it would be okay if I put one at their business, just as a different way to get those out there. I think it's a good way to raise awareness. I've had a lot of people tell me about remembering when they were on the square and stuff. So if you happen to see one out at a business, take a picture. Let us know that you see it. I think it'd just be a great way to get awareness out in the community and just keep everybody remembering, like, hey, Domestic Violence Awareness Month is this month, just to keep it on the forefront, I guess you could say.
Now, tell us a little bit about those cutouts. What the purpose is to send a message of
Yes.
awareness. So, what are some of the messages that you have on there?
Well, some of the messages that we have on them, one side of the cutout is painted teal for our sexual assault awareness, and then the other side is painted purple for domestic violence awareness. And then, so what we did was we got online and we looked up victim quotes or
Okay.
statistics that coincided with sexual assault or domestic violence, and then we painted them on it. So some of the ones that we have on there say, "I'm the only one who will love you ever," because that's one of
A
the
lie.
lines that abusers will use.
Yes.
One of them was, "I will kill you if you leave me," because that's another way that they get you to stay. This goes out to the moms. He threatened to hurt my kids, because that's another way that they get you to stay. And then some say, "She said, if I can't have you, no one can." So, it's important to remember that this goes for both male and female.
Right.
So, a female
Right.
can be an abuser too. And then we also have some little ones that represent kids, because we often don't think of them very often in those situations, I think. So it's important to remember them and how they may feel. One of them says, "I'm sorry I was bad and you got hurt." So we need to remember that sometimes these kids are taking the blame on themselves and thinking that they're the ones that were in the wrong. So we just looked up victim quotes and things that they have said, and that way it kind of puts human nature on it, I
Personal
guess you can
touch.
say. Yeah, personal touch. So
Well, there's 1 in 4 women and 1 in 10 men experience sexual violence, physical violence, or stalking by an intimate partner during their lifetime. And this can lead to all kinds of things, PTSD, so many other disorders and illnesses come from family violence.
yes.
And so when someone gets out, that's the beginning of the healing. And so you mentioned some great quotes there from some victims of family violence, and that is, I'll hurt your kids if you leave, or I'll kill you if you leave, or I'll kill myself if you leave, or no one will ever love you, or you are worthless. You
You're
you
never
should
gonna
be
do any better.
Yeah, you
Yes.
should be lucky to have me. All of those things. But when you're in the midst of a situation, you are caught up psychologically into the web. It's almost like this spider web that you get caught up in, and you're stuck. And a lot of people say, well, why do they stay? There's no reason why they should stay. They have a job, they're gainfully employed, they have family they could go to, they could just leave. They have a car.
Yeah.
I mean, they have money. If they have $5, they can buy some gas and get out of there. But it's so much more than that.
Yeah.
It's not
easier
about,
said than done.
yes,
It's easier said than done.
it's about detaching emotionally. And that's where these victims have a hard time, because the perpetrator keeps them caught into this psychological web of keeping them attached to them by manipulation and by charm and by lies and by all of these things. And a lot of times people think in the community that some of these people that have this great amount of charm and Mr. Nice Guy or Miss Wonderful would never act that way at home. But there are times when people are two different people. And they act one way out in public and they act another way at home. And so, I'm really big on not re-victimizing a victim.
Right.
If someone comes to you and says, hey, I need to talk to somebody because I think that I'm in a situation that's unhealthy for me and unhealthy for my children. I'm scared, I'm afraid. But I know this sounds crazy because, Bob is wonderful and he does everything for everybody. And when they call, he's just right there for them. But, but he's
A
pretty
different person
violent at
behind
home.
closed doors. Right.
He's pretty violent at home. And especially if he drinks or, things like that. And they may have just gotten enough courage to come to you and say that. And if we immediately assess the situation ourselves instead of saying, "Oh, really? I'm concerned for you. Let me
Right.
see if I can get you some help. I'm not really qualified to talk to you about it. I don't know much about it, but I know if you're feeling that way, there really must be a reason why you're feeling
Right.
that way. So let me give you this number, 597-7644, that you can call, and there's a professional there that can talk with you and help you. And, no one deserves to be afraid,
Right.
regardless of whether or not you want to put domestic violence on it, a label on it. If you're living in fear, there's something that's not right.
Right.
And a lot of people say, well, I'm not black and blue, I'm not in the hospital, I'm not bleeding, but emotionally you're filleted,
Yeah.
you know,
And those
and
those
that's
are hard scars to deal with.
yes, that's
emotionally.
a lot of times it's harder to get over. So if someone comes to you, and I just say that for our listeners because a lot of times we take one side or the other, or things don't appear as what you would think would be a dangerous situation. If someone's come to you, it's worth checking out. And if they had enough courage to step up and to say something to you, please don't shut them down. Even if you don't believe them and they have a pattern of not telling the truth, still check it out. It's worth checking out,
Right.
passing it over to someone else where they can assess it, and this person can get whatever help. Because if they keep saying things like this anyway, there's something wrong there that needs to be addressed.
Yes.
So, but most generally, it's very hard for a victim to come forth.
Right.
And if they do finally come forth, they need to be protected. I just really feel, and that's what I love about you girls at the Haven and the counselors there, which are not all female, there's male as well. But there's a sense of protection there.
Right.
And I want to say that just from firsthand, from knowing everyone there that's on staff, that they truly care, they're compassionate, they're trained, they're knowledgeable, and they're going to get you the help that you need. They may not have all the answers, but they will find the answers because they care. And that's another reason why we're really blessed to have you here in the community. So I just want to say, if you have a time where you can donate your time or your funds that you can give to help a cause, the Haven Family Shelter is one of these causes in our community that can help, because they're helping so many people that are in traumatic experiences. And like you were talking about children, taking the responsibility for actions of their parents. That's very common.
Yes.
It's
Yes.
very common. And so it's really treating the whole family.
Yes.
And we want to stress that. Someone may call and feel like they're the recipient of being abused, but they say, well, they're not doing anything to my children, but your children are witnessing abuse.
Right.
So they are being abused.
Yep.
You have to look at it that way. And so they're there to help the family. And again, it's not just for females. There are males that find themselves in abusive situations and need help as well. So they can call.
Yes, they can call us too. We're not just a women's shelter. We
That's right.
provide services to men, women, and children.
I found this interesting in some of the statistics. It was 1 in 4 women and 1 in 10 men experience sexual violence, physical violence. Some have PTSD symptoms, injury. Some 1 in 5 female victims and 1 in 20 male victims will need medical care. And I know that you guys help with that. You will help transport or find or get whatever it is that they need.
We'll sit with them.
Yes. Female victims sustain injuries 3 times more often than male victims, but it does happen to male victims as well. 1 in 5 female victims and 1 in 9 male victims need legal services. I like this because you are there, and if you have to go to court or you need support, these girls are right there with you. I know they sit in there and they hear case after case after case, but they're
And we
there to hold your
continue-
hand.
We continue to do that even after
Yes.
you've left the shelter. Even if you don't stay at the shelter, we
Yes.
help you with that. Like, we still have clients that we helped a year or two ago, and they're still going through that legal process. And it may not have anything to do with that situation. It might be related to custody
Yes.
and we're still going to court with them. So we
Yes.
continue to have, to show that support and to help you wherever it is that we can, even after you've left the shelter, or even after you don't need us no more. Or
And you don't
need
have
the
to
shelter anymore.
actually stay in the shelter to receive services.
Right.
You can go through the process, which is going through an intake. And even if you don't stay at the shelter, and correct me if I'm wrong, they can still receive counseling services and the other services that you have. And so that is the wonderful thing about it, is it's not just for people that live in the shelter. And like you said, it continues on.
Yeah.
You know, some of these issues don't end in a year.
No.
Some of these issues hang on for 5, 10 years because there's custody issues. There's issues of continually going back to court. And the reason why is because most perpetrators do not get the help that they need, and they will reoffend.
Right. Right.
That is just statistics right there.
Yes. And we even have, I wanted to say this because we have a lady that reached out to us, and she hasn't been in a domestic violence situation for 15 years, you know, like, you know, it's happened, but she reached out for counseling services because she still has, you know, the PTSD. And so even though it happened 15 years ago, if it's still affecting your life and making it hard to do day-to-day things, we can help you there too. So that's important to know.
Yeah. A lot of times things will happen in our life that will trigger those things again. And so that's okay. That doesn't mean that there's something wrong with you. That just means that you're being smart by getting the help that you need and getting the counseling that you need. Yes, and recognizing that. I found this interesting too. On a typical day, domestic violence hotlines nationwide receive over 19,000 calls.
Wow.
An abuser access to a firearm increases the risk of intimate partner femicide by 400%.
Oh, wow.
In 2018, partner violence accounted for 20% of all violent crimes. That's a lot.
Yes.
20% of all violent crimes. Intimate partner violence is most common against women between the ages of 18 and 24, and 19% of intimate partner violence involves a weapon.
Yes.
And so, you know, this is a real issue that all communities deal with. It's just how you're going to deal with it. And it's not something that we like to talk about, like I said earlier, but I'm big on education.
Right.
When you educate people and you let them know what the situation is, how they can help, what the signs are, what the symptoms are, what are the warnings, what can you do to help prevent it, then you can work in your community in different areas. They don't have to come just to the Haven. They can talk to people at the school. They can talk to their neighbors. They can come to National Night Out and help with, you know, being aware of keeping our community safe. How do we do that? We keep our families safe.
There you go. Yes, ma'am.
So
that's why prevention is a big deal.
Yes.
Prevention is a very big deal. And, you know,
Yes.
we have our prevention coordinator, Michaela. She's out there and she's going into the schools. And, you know, we not only go into our schools here in Brady, but she goes to Rochelle. She goes alone. She goes to Mason. She goes to Junction. She goes to Menard and all. So we're all over the place because we realize that that's where we need to get them, you know, let them teach them when they're young. You know, the signs and how to have healthy emotions and healthy relationships. And so that way we can break that cycle. So it's all about prevention.
And maybe out of the mouths of babes when they go home, something will be said that will trigger the person that's being abused to get the help that they need. Sometimes that happens.
Yes. Yeah.
Because kids will say, you know, this isn't, I learned that
They're
this
like, "I saw
isn't
this at
right."
school.
Yeah, that's right. We're going to take a short break. We'll be back in just a couple of minutes. Stay with us. We're talking about Domestic Violence Awareness Month, October. We kick that off this weekend and have a lot of great events going on this month to support. Also, ways that you can volunteer and help out the Haven Family Shelter here locally in Brady. And just educate yourself on some statistics and some warning signs so that if you yourself are experiencing any type of violence at home, or maybe you question whether or not there's violence at home, this will help you and will give you a number that you can call to get more information and to get the help that you need. Stay with us. We'll be back. The Haven Family Shelter is a domestic violence and sexual assault shelter that serves men, women, and children who are victims of domestic violence and sexual assault in Mason, Menard, McCullough, Kimball, Concho, and surrounding counties. The Haven is dedicated to ending domestic violence and sexual assault. The Haven provides services such as 24-hour crisis intervention and hotline, 24-hour accompaniment for medical, law enforcement, or criminal justice. They provide legal advocacy, individual counseling, and the Haven is active in public education, prevention, and community awareness. Support your local domestic violence and sexual assault programs. Speak up about the abuse. Educate yourself and others. Help a friend in need and set an example. For more information on how you can help, call the Haven at 325-597-7644. Together, we can end domestic violence and sexual assault. Are you looking for a better way of life? Have you or someone you know been dealing with hurts, habits, or hang-ups? Are you looking for a place where others understand and admit we all need a better way to live life? Heart of Texas Celebrate Recovery is a Christ-centered 12-step recovery program designed to help you deal with past hurts, unhealthy habits, and hang-ups that keep us from successful living. Celebrate Recovery is not just for those dealing with addictions. Celebrate Recovery is much more. Anger, insecurities, codependency, abuse, fear, anxiety, and divorce. Celebrate Recovery helps us all find freedom, support, healing, peace, and new life. Heart of Texas Celebrate Recovery meets Thursdays at 6 o'clock p.m. at the Heart of Texas Event Center. We look forward to you joining us Thursdays at 6 o'clock p.m. What is in your future is so much better than what's in your past. The time is now. Come celebrate with us.
95.3 KNEL.
Are you facing a crisis or has something unexpected happened to you? Maybe your home and relationships have been harmed by divorce, or do you have marriage, parenting, or blended family issues, career choices, financial issues, addiction, or just plain old I need to know how to do life better to avoid making so many bad choices? At Home Success Coaching is a great place to start. If you need someone to listen, someone to talk, to process your feelings, insight, or advice on how to have a better life, At Home Success Coaching can help you out of a crisis or just help you stay on the right path and reach the goal of having the very best home, family, and relationships possible. At Home Success Coaching is a nonprofit organization and there is no charge for our services or programs that are offered. Visit at homesuccesscoaching.com. That's at homesuccesscoaching.com, helping one home at a time.
95.3 KNEL.
Top billing actors and professional athletes, entertainers are paid millions of dollars each year. But the people who protect our homes and our lives, the police officers of our country, their annual income is far less. So while we enjoy watching movies and games, let's not forget the men and women in blue who work to keep us safe.
Brady Butane proudly salutes local police, fire, and first responders for their service and commitment to our community and invites you to join other businesses, organizations, and individuals on Tuesday, October 3rd at Richards Park from 6 to 8 p.m. to proudly celebrate National Night Out, a nationwide event promoting law enforcement and community partnerships.
Welcome back to At Home with Debbie Rule, where we're talking about domestic violence awareness prevention this month of October. It is a month where we designate to bring education, prevention, and awareness. And without those months where we can designate the entire month to do that, which I think should be done all year long, we should talk about events and different things that we can do to keep our families safe in our community and where they can go to get help. But especially during the month of October, we want to remind everybody that in the first half that we talked about that the Haven Family Shelter is in need of volunteers for their hotline. So if you're interested in that, they will train you. You don't have to have an education. You don't have to have all this extra training. They will provide what you need. You have staff there to support you. You're basically just taking the call and then passing it on to the person that is qualified to help that person. So it's very simple. If you can say hello and calm someone and just be pleasant, then I think you can do it. So if you're interested in doing that, call 597-7644 or visit the Facebook page for the Haven Family Shelter. You can also message them and let them know. Also recapping that they have t-shirts for sale, $15 that you can look at on Facebook, right?
Yes.
They're super cute is what Holly says, and I have no doubt that they are.
Yes.
So you're going to be taking orders through Friday,
October
6th?
Yes.
Oh, I'm either way behind or way early.
Yes. Well, I know, and me and Kelsey were talking the other day, and if you want your shirt by November 19th to wear for the Unity Day, I need your orders by Friday, October 6th. Now, of course, if it's...
Are you talking about October 19th?
Yes.
Okay, you said November 19th.
Girl, that's what
Okay.
I'm thinking about
I'm not
dinner.
the only one that's off. Okay.
No,
All
you're
right.
not. No, October 19th is Unity
Okay.
Day. So if you would like your shirt to wear on that day, I need the order by this coming Friday. Now, if you're just, if you call us next week and was like, hey, I'd really love a shirt, you can get you a shirt. We'll get you a shirt. You
Okay.
can get one.
Okay.
So we really like to see everybody wearing them on November. I did it again. October 19th. So get a hold of us this week and get your orders in.
Well, since we're on November, let's just talk about the big event that comes
Yes,
it
Hunter's
comes
dinner,
up in
of course,
November.
Hunter's
That's why
dinner.
you're talking about November.
I've
It's
got
in
Hunter's
your brain.
Dinner on the brain.
That's
We've
right. It's okay.
been doing it
Tell
for
us about it.
Yeah, there we go. Our annual fundraiser, our annual Hunters Appreciation Dinner is coming up on November 18th, and we're in full swing. We're setting up at Jacoby's and Ace and Lowe's and Boondocks and Max. We're setting up wherever we can to sell those tickets. We have the gun raffle and we have the side-by-side with a trailer. We have that raffle going on. So if you see us out and about and you need your tickets, let us know. We have moved it back to the Civic Center. So
Okay.
it will be back at the Civic Center. And
And the date again?
November 18th. Doors
November
open at
18th.
6. Yes, we'll have our live auction, our silent auction. If you would like to get in on that, we have sponsorship packages available. Let us know if you or your business is interested in donating something. If you don't catch us, don't worry, we'll catch you. We're out in the community, going to businesses, getting our letters out there. So yeah, it's that time of year again. So
Okay.
we're
And
in full spring. So November's on the brain.
It does include a dinner.
We are doing a dinner this year. I'm not sure where from yet, but we'll
Okay.
have that posted as soon as we get all those details.
Okay. And so that's going to be November 18th at 6 o'clock p.m. at the Civic Center here in Brady with a raffle and silent auction that's going to be going on. And if you would like to sponsor or if you would like more information about how you can donate to the silent auction, please contact the Haven. They would be glad to visit with you about that. Events like this can't happen without sponsors.
Right.
Unfortunately, we would like to help everybody, but we can't help people without resources. And so
Yes.
this is an opportunity for the Haven to be able to get resources, to be able to keep their services available for those that are in need throughout the year. And without funding, it is just impossible
Yes,
to
it
be able
is.
to do anything. And
And
so
this is our big one. This is our
Yes.
main big fundraiser. And, those funds that we raise go to help with things that these grants don't cover. So the housing assistance, the prescriptions that these victims need, eyeglasses, just stuff like that you may not think about.
Right.
That's what we use that for. So it's really important. This is our big one. So we're asking for the community support and their help in making it better than last year.
and that money stays right here in our area and covers servicing the people that the Haven services, the counties that they service. So
Yes.
it's not like you're giving to a national organization where you're never going to see where your money is
Right.
going to. It's going to help people right here in our community and the surrounding communities with their needs. And that's what I love about giving to a local organization is that you're helping your neighbor.
Yes.
And I love that. I love to be able to help my neighbor. So this is a wonderful way to do that. Again, the Haven Hunter appreciation dinner is going to be November 18th at the Civic Center here in Brady, 6 o'clock. They're going to have a gun raffle. They'll also have the silent auction, and they're looking for sponsors
And the live auction.
and the live auction.
That one's
And-
always fun.
Yes. And so if you would like to participate in that, if you would like to donate, please contact the Haven because they'd be glad to talk with you about that. Remember that you can get t-shirts for $15. And if you want those by October 19th, Unity Day, you need to order those by Friday the 6th. That's this
Yes.
coming Friday. Contact the Haven at 597-7644 or visit their Facebook page and get more information about that. Also, on your calendar, as we talked about in the first half, human trafficking training course. This is provided by a trained professional in human trafficking that will come and do a one-day training. It's from 8 to 5. It's geared towards law enforcement and people that work in this field. But again, it's education. When you educate yourself on issues like human trafficking, then you are able to be a better person in your community to help with prevention. You're able to spot things. You're able to work with different organizations that participate in these types of things. And you need to know. And I just think it's just a good thing. Everybody should know what human trafficking is. Again, it's another one of those things that we don't like to talk about, but it happens. And Texas and California are the largest states with the largest number of human trafficking that happens in the United States. And this is not just a issue that happens in the United States. This is a worldwide epidemic. Let me say that again. It is. It is happening worldwide. And we need to understand that it's not just about sexual exploitation. It's about labor, and it's not just women. It's men and women and children. And there's just things that you can learn that I think that would help you to be able to know more to help people in the community. So put that on your calendar. Call and get more information. Again, human trafficking course that's going to be on October 18th from 8 to 5. There's no charge for the course, and the Haven is going to provide lunch. So that's a great time to learn more about human trafficking. So back to domestic violence awareness. If you're a business and you would like to put one of the cutouts that they have that has special quotes or things that victims have said or statistics or just
As a way
I'm
to
going to say
show
quotes as a
support.
ways
Yeah.
to show support. Let them know because they'll bring their cutout to you and
It'll
you'll
be there
able-
all month.
And you know, it's a great conversation piece.
Yeah.
People say, what is that?
I don't know how many times they've scared us. Like when we have them stored, we'll forget that they're there, and the staff will be like, "Oh my gosh, I
thought
thought
there
there
was
was a
someone
person
standing
there." Yeah.
Yeah. Well, people come in from the outside and they say, what is that?
Yeah,
and
they're
and
like, huh.
it's an opportunity for you to tell them about the Haven and to
Yes.
tell them about domestic violence and what October means to domestic violence. So, do you have anything else that you want to add there? Or you wanna-
I think that's pretty much all we've got going on. We're just right in smack dab middle swing of Hunter's Dinner, so it's just a busy time of year for us. And our shelter, we've been busy with clients and helping people, and it's picked up quite a bit in the last few months. You know, there's pros and cons. You know, we hate that it's picked up, but we're glad we're there, that we
Right.
can help. And it's just, we've been busy, and the community's been great in supporting us, and donations have been rolling in. People are like, what do you take? And we always tell them we take everything. Like, if you've got it, bring it to the shelter, you know, because we use that stuff to help those victims once they,
Yeah.
you know, when they move out, they don't have anything, you know, and so we like to have things to help them get started. So when I say everything, I mean everything.
But let me add to that, just gently used items.
Right.
Things that you wouldn't, put on your child or that you wouldn't use doesn't mean that they would use it. And sometimes people's attitude is, well, those people,
Yeah.
this is what they need. They deserve the best. They have had a lot of trauma and they deserve what anybody else deserves to
Right.
have. And so I just want to say, quality. If you wouldn't use it and you would put it in the trash, then that's probably where it needs to
Right.
go. But if it's gently used or new and it's something that can be used and it is usable, then contact the Haven. They'll be glad to help you
Right.
with being able to take it. I would call first and let them know what you have before you just show up with it, because
Yeah.
space and
Yeah.
availability.
We have two
may-
big old storage buildings out back behind our shelter. That's where we keep the big stuff. So
Okay.
we've got couches and washers and dryers and tables and beds. So we we have
People need
the
'em.
room for it, and we have people in need. So it's
Yes.
always good to have those things.
That's good. And I'm glad you mentioned those bigger
Yes.
items because people might not think that you need those things. Domestic violence is prevalent in every community and affects all people regardless of age, socioeconomic status, sexual orientation, gender, race, religion, or nationality. Physical violence is often accompanied by emotional, abusive, and controlling behavior as part of a larger systematic pattern of dominance and control. So, domestic violence can result in physical injury, psychological trauma, and even death. And the devastating consequences of domestic violence can cross generations and last a lifetime. So I say, let's put an end to it. Let's break the cycle. Be the first one to speak up if you know someone that needs help or you need help. Call the Haven at 597-7644. Even if you feel like that your problem's not a big enough problem or that you really don't need help, if you feel afraid or if you feel like something is just not quite right, you're probably right. There's nothing that's probably not quite right. I found this interesting. Stalking. A lot of times we don't talk about that, but a lot of times when a victim will try to leave a situation, they will leave several times before they actually make a clean break. And sometimes during that process, stalking
Yeah.
happens. And so, people say, well, he has the right to be on the corner. No, he doesn't have to be the right to be on the corner if he's threatening you
Right.
or bringing fear to you and your family. So, stalking victimization involves a pattern of harassing and threatening tactics. If this is happening to you, you need to listen. It's used by a perpetrator that causes the victim to fear for their safety and the safety of others. It's 19.1 million women and 6.4 million men in the United States have been stalked. 66.2% of female stalking victims reported stalking by a current or former intimate partner, and 1 in 10 women and 1 in 50 men have experienced stalking by an intimate partner during their lifetime. So we don't hear much about stalking, but it happens, and this is part of the process and the cycle that a perpetrator uses. If you're not right there in their immediate control, they use this as another means of controlling you and trying to bring fear. So if you've tried to break away from a situation and you feel like that something is just not quite right, person's hanging around a little bit too much or threatening you or harassing you, you can always call the police and they can help you with that as well. And I know the Haven as well is there to talk with you about that, because there's things that can be put in place to keep somebody from harming you and
it's
threatening
important
you.
to report it.
Yes.
It's important to report everything, not
Yes.
just when it comes to stalking and all that, but it's important to report it because that establishes that repeat behavior that, unfortunately stalking is very hard to, convict somebody on something like that. But when you have that paper trail, per se, then
Yeah,
it
keep
makes
text,
it easier.
keep things that you can use as evidence to show, but reporting things like we're talking about, these numbers and these statistics, this is just from reported incidents. There is a huge percentage in every area that we're talking about: sexual assault, stalking, domestic violence situations. They're all underreported. Most people will not report for fear that they will get retaliation and they'll get more, because a lot of times they may get picked up for maybe just a day. And when they come back, they pay.
worse.
It's worse. That's why you have places like the Haven where you can remove yourself and your family from being in that environment when they come back. That's the importance of that. So, stalking, homicide, 1 in 2 female murder victims and 1 in 13 male victims were killed by their intimate partners. A study of intimate partner homicides found 20% of victims were family members or friends of the abused partner, neighbors, persons who intervened, law enforcement responders, or bystanders. 65% of all murder suicides are perpetrators by intimate partners, and 96% of murder suicide victims are female. Most intimate partner homicides are committed with firearms. Abusers access to firearms, increase the risk of intimate partner. And that's another thing, too, is because when things are reported and if people have a conviction, then they're not allowed to have things like firearms.
Right.
So hopefully you're helping, prevent harm to come to someone else as well when you report. But
Right.
it's very, very important. So victims of intimate partner violence are increased in risk of contracting HIV and STIs due to forced intercourse. Also, intimate partner victimization is correlation with a higher rate of depression and suicidal behavior. And only 34% of people who are injured by intimate partners receive medical care for their injuries. A lot of times they go without. They don't want to go to the doctor because they don't want the doctor to ask what happened.
Embarrassment or shame.
Yes, or fear.
Yes.
Or fear, with someone standing there next to you. If you tell them what really happened, you're going to get it worse when you get home.
Right.
So you think, well, that doesn't really happen.
It does.
It happens. That's
It does.
exactly how it happens. So victims of intimate partner violence lose a total of 8 million days of paid work each year. This affects our economy, guys. This is something that needs to, we need to bring awareness to, and we need to educate ourselves and help bring prevention, because it's a cycle that it impacts everything.
Right.
It's not just that family say, well, that's just their problem. That's not my problem. Well, it's going to tell you this is not just their problem. The equivalent of 32,000 full-time jobs. Intimate partner violence is estimated to cost the U.S. economy between $5.8 billion and $12.6 billion annually, up to 0.125% of the national gross domestic product. It is a community problem. It is not just a family problem.
Right.
And a national
Right.
situation that we can look at. We just saw that right there.
Right.
So if that doesn't motivate you to be able to get some training and help reach out to those in the community that may be in need, if you would like to volunteer in any other capacity, I'm sure that you can contact the Haven. They may have some other opportunities for you to be able to help as well. Don't forget the Hunter's Dinner coming up on November 18th. Looking for sponsors, and also the silent and the live auction. They'll be looking for items to donate for that. Again, quickly, tell us a little bit more about the T-shirts. Let's go ahead and just go down that run before we go.
We're selling T-shirts for domestic violence awareness. Go Purple Day is October 19th, and that's when we like to wear the shirts. So if you would like a shirt, please get a hold of us at 597-7644 or on our Facebook page and let us know, and we can get an order form for you and all that kind of good stuff. And we're just asking that the community wear those shirts with us on that day, just to show support and show awareness for victims everywhere. So we would love to see our community just we want everybody to be wearing one.
Yes.
Everybody.
And if you're a business and you would like to have a cutout in your business that expresses some of the quotes from victims and just brings statistics or awareness by just the things that they say, people ask, well, what does that mean? Gives you an opportunity to explain about domestic violence. If you would like to have one of those in your business, contact the Haven. They'll be glad to bring one out to you. A great way to support the community and to help bring prevention is to have one of those cutouts in your business. Also, remember that Unity Day is going to be October 19th. That's where you're going to wear your purple shirt or wear it all month long or all year long.
Yeah,
I think that
whenever
all
you
year
wanna wear
long,
it.
all
Yeah.
year long.
Whenever you want to wear it is great.
Human trafficking training course that's going to be on October 18th from 8 to 5 at the Haven. There is no charge. The Haven will provide lunch. This is by a trained professional. It is geared, again, we say geared towards law enforcement, but anyone that's interested in learning more about human trafficking so that they can be a part of community awareness and bringing prevention and education, passing the word on. This is maybe something that you might be interested in, and so you can call and get more information about that as well. All month long, we'll be talking about domestic violence awareness and the things that we can do to help bring prevention in our community. The main thing, excuse me, is what we talked about in the very beginning. If someone comes to you, lead them to somebody that can help them, whether you believe them or not, whether you feel like that they're worthy of hearing your time, or whether you don't have any answers. You don't have to have the answers.
No.
If a victim has enough courage to come and talk to you, respond. And you
Right.
can respond with this number.
325
325.
597-7644.
That's right.
Anytime, day or night.
And if you would like to be trained for the hotline, please call them and let them know. They would love for you to be a part of that. They are in need of people to help with hotline. Well, thank you so much for being with us tonight, inviting us into your home. I always love hearing from you and spending Sunday evening with you, sharing our thoughts about home, family, and relationships. From my home to yours, I'm Debbie Rule, and we'll see you next week right here at 6 o'clock p.m. on 95.3 FM and KNELradio.com. And thank you, Holly Garza from
Thank
the
you for
Haven, for
having
being
me.
with me tonight. We look forward to doing it again.
Yes,
You
ma'am.
guys have a blessed week, and we'll see you next week.
Thank you for joining us today for At Home with Debbie Rule. You can be at home with Debbie Rule every Sunday on KNEL 95.3 FM and KNELradio.com. Follow At Home with Debbie Rule on Facebook and podcast on iTunes. See you next week, At Home with Debbie Rule, for more insights on home, family, and relationships.